during difficult times and even a normal economy. Businesses may encounter situations where clients need to temporarily defer, adjust, or even delay invoicing and payments. I'm Natalie, the Director of Customer Experience here at Fusebill. In this webinar, we're going to walk through a list of 10 features in Fusebill's recurring billing platform that can help you accommodate your customers' unique needs. Working with struggling customers to provide a bit of billing flexibility isn't just a kind thing to do. It's good business and will help establish and retain a strong, loyal customer base for the future. I'm going to pass this over now to my colleagues Daniela and Christine to get things started.
Hi there, I'm Daniela, and we're going to start by taking a look at how your team can tailor its automated email templates in Fusebill. This can ensure your clients are aware of any specific messaging or resources you're trying to convey during a crisis, a period of organizational change, or really any time. Christine?
Thanks, Daniela. So when you're logged into your Fusebill administration panel, go to your account settings and select the branding option. Then select outgoing emails. In here, you can modify a number of templates that are outgoing. So for instance, two really common emails that you might want to adjust are the invoice post and the invoice overdue. The invoice post email can be scheduled to send anytime your Fusebill system generates an invoice and sends it to the customer. The invoice overdue email can be sent in cases where you're having trouble with a customer's payment method or they're having difficulty paying. You can enter the template for any email by clicking on the arrow to the right of it. In here, you can enable or disable the email message, and you're able to tailor the messaging. You're able to preview your email from here as well. Within the email template, you'll find tools to help you format your message and insert links if you'd like to send customers somewhere for additional information or resources. So, whenever your customers receive an email message for one of these templates, it'll have this additional information. You can modify pretty much any of the automated emails you schedule to send in this way.
Great, thanks, Christine. Now let's move on and show everyone how they can provide customers with a limited duration subscription discount.
Sure. So first you need to open the customer you'd like to provide a discount to and select the specific subscription you'd like to discount. Using the Advanced Overrides option, you select Discounts and go. This will open an editing window where you can adjust the percentage, fixed dollar amount, or fixed amount per unit discount you'd like to apply to the subscription. From here, you can also select when to start the discount and for how many billing periods you like the discount to remain active. Once you add and apply the discount, you'll see it clearly noted within the subscription. Save the change, and you're good to go. Keep in mind that when you apply a discount to a customer's subscription, it will only affect new charges generated by the subscription products that are affected by the active discount. It won't affect invoices that have already been posted.
So that's a great solution to address customers on an individual basis, but what if your team needs to apply the same discount across several customer subscriptions?
Good question, Daniela. Which brings us to our next feature, which is creating coupons to apply discounts. Coupons enable your business to offer a specific discount consistently and repeatedly across multiple customers. So this saves your team time and effort. To do this, you first need to navigate to the Discounts tab in your catalog. Select Add Discount, name, and create a reference code and description. And then you can determine exactly how you'd like your coupon to behave, just as with the previous discount feature I described. Once you've saved your discount, navigate to Coupons under the catalog features. You'll just need to add a code, name, and description here as well, and then decide upon the availability parameters of your coupon. You'll select the specific discount you already created, and then you can decide which plans or products are eligible for the coupon. For example, this coupon is eligible against the subscription fee on all silver plans. You can add multiple plans or products depending on how you'd like the coupon to be applied. And of course, don't forget to save and then activate your coupon. Now you can go and apply your coupon to any customer that meets your eligibility requirements, and you'll immediately see the discount applied.
Great. Okay, so we know that in some cases a discount isn't going to be enough to help a customer. What if they really just can't afford to pay their invoice right now?
So rather than having a struggling customer churn out entirely because they can't pay, an option is to place their billing on hold for the time being. I'm going to walk you through this process, which can be leveraged for customer relationship management. First of all, if you're looking to hold a number of customer accounts, the calendar is a good way to strategize who to address first, because you can see which invoices are coming up soon. Let's go into an active customer with an active subscription. We have this button here called Pause Service. And what this does is place your customer in a hold state. So you'll no longer have an active subscription on the customer, and for the time being, your customer won't be billed. The system will assume you aren't providing services to the customer right now, and when billing comes up, it's going to skip over their invoices for now. This process is based around the billing period that's set for that customer. Then, when you're ready to bring the customer off of hold and you hit Start Service again, it's going to ask you what you want to do with the customer. At that point, you'll have to decide whether or not you want to charge for all missed periods, charge for the current period and prorate, charge for the current period and not prorate, or not charge for any missed periods at all.
So what exactly do all of these options mean, Christine? Can you give us an example?
Sure. So, say you take your customer off hold halfway through the month. If you charge for all missed periods, it's going to generate any invoice that was missed while on hold and post it on the day you take them off hold. If you choose to charge for the current period and prorate, if that's applicable, it will generate a shortened invoice from the day you unhold it until the next billing period. For example, if the customer is normally billed on the 9th of the month, but you take them off hold on the 20th, the system will generate a shortened invoice for the period between the 20th and the 9th of the following month. You'll generate that shortened period as an invoice instead of charging them the full amount because they previously weren't using the services or because of some other business decision you made at the time. Now, let's say you're in July. You decide to unhold your customer, and you select Charge for Current Period, Do Not Prorate. If you take the customer off hold on July 1st, then you generate the June 9th to July 9th invoice when the time comes. Whereas, again, prorating would generate a July 1st to July 9th shortened invoice instead. Finally, if you choose not to charge for any missed periods, you just skip billing until the next invoice comes out. So you'd only start on the July 9th invoice at that point. So to sum it up, when you're placing a customer on hold, you're skipping billing periods as opposed to shifting them. Placing a customer subscription on hold can also be accomplished through API.
What if you have a developer resource available or you're able to program and work with Fusebill API? Can you also place a customer subscription on hold through API?
You can. We have some great documentation available for this at developer.fusebill.com. From there, you can get information on the hold and unhold actions you can take. So the next feature I want to chat about doesn't involve putting a customer's subscription on hold, but rather putting a hold on automatically collecting payment, if that's something you'd previously been doing. This feature gives your team the opportunity to personally connect with customers about payment rather than having the system take care of it. While this means more effort for your team for a period of time, it also enables you to collect payment from customers in a more ad hoc way, as and when you feel it's appropriate. So, to turn off automatic collection on a customer's account, select Settings under their payment option. From there, you simply click Off under Automatically Collect Payment. Save your change, and you'll see it reflected under their payment option in real time. If you choose to turn off automatic collections, you could take it a step further and also turn off auto-posting invoices. Taking this action means the system will generate ready charges instead of automatically posting invoices. A member of your team will then need to intervene before posting each invoice to that customer's account. This gives you the opportunity to make adjustments to the invoice if needed. To do this, again, select Settings under your customer's payment option. Then, you simply select Off under Auto Post Draft Invoice.
I like all of these options, but let's move on and talk about credits. A credit seems like a nice, simple way to quickly give your customers some financial relief or maybe even just reward them for loyalty.
Totally. As a simple example, let's say you have a customer with $10 owing. By awarding a credit, you can say, instead of you paying your entire balance, I'm going to pay part of it for you. From a customer's invoice, select Create a Credit. Then you can add a credit amount and a reference. This is essentially leaving yourself and your accountants a good reason why you're paying or partly paying for a customer's account. Make sure the credit allocation is appropriate here. Select Save, And then you'll see you've created a little bit of relief for the customer. Their invoice is now only $5 that they need to pay off. You've paid off the other $5. In terms of reporting in Fusebill, you'll now have a credit transaction on that customer's account. So if you go back to their transactions list, you'll see there's a credit that's been applied to the customer's account, and you'll see which invoice it's currently allocated to. Additionally, in your reconciliation report, there will be a transfer between the AR balance and the credit ledger. That way, you'll be able to track the credit expenses that have taken place in the account.
All right, let's move on. So what if I'm a customer and I just need some extra time in order to make my payment? What can you do for me?
Fusebill can certainly help. Fusebill has a great feature for deferring payment by resetting the customer's payment terms. Payment terms on your Fusebill account is when your customer needs to pay you by, or when their due date is. And by default, your account will have a major date set, like a net terms. To find the payment terms you've originally set for your account, you go to Settings, then into your Financial section, and then your Billing Preferences. In here, your payment terms are defined by this default net terms. A lot of online subscription and SaaS businesses are going to have that set to net zero. This means that whenever you collect from your customers, if auto collect is on, you collect immediately as soon as the invoice goes out. But in some cases, you may want to have a longer period on this. For example, you may want auto collection to take place 30 days after you post an invoice. Keep in mind that if you change your net terms and save it here, it will only apply to new customers coming into your system. But this can help in some ways to smooth things out with newer customers coming in, to give them a little bit more time.
Now, since we're talking about responding to existing customers, can we walk through how to adjust payment terms at the customer level?
Sure. So if I have an invoice that's sitting as due, I can adjust the net terms on that invoice so the customer can pay it off a little bit later. That's one way of going about this. Another is that if you know a customer is going to be consistently overdue on their payments for a while, you can modify their specific payment terms. So in a customer's account under their payment option, select Settings. When you select and enter new terms here, Fusebill will generate all future invoices according to the new extended terms you set. This means you can expect payment on future invoices a little bit later in time, giving the customer more time before they move into poor standing. Once you set the payment terms at the customer level, it overrides whatever's at the account level. Let's say a customer goes past their payment terms and their invoice becomes overdue. The system will automatically move them into a state of poor standing. At this point, there's a couple of things you can do, and this is our next feature. First, you can go into the customer's status settings and apply or extend the grace period on their account. This allows the customer to be in poor standing for much longer, giving them more time to pay before their account is suspended. So for example here, the customer now has 60 days instead of 15 days until you suspend them. This is a way for the system to automatically pause the customer's service. Alternatively, instead of adjusting their grace period, you could also just give them an extension of another 15 days or more. These additional days are on top of the existing grace period.
So, Christine, what's the difference between extending a customer's grace period and extending their payment terms?
Good question, Daniela. When you extend a customer's grace period, you're saying you'll give them more time to be in a state where they haven't quite caught up with their payments. They're in poor standing and their service is paused. When you adjust their net terms, you give them more time to pay their invoices before the system considers them to be in poor standing. So they are still in good standing because you've effectively changed their due date.
Okay, so if none of the options we've discussed will do and a customer simply can't afford to pay part or all of an invoice, how can you go about reversing charges or refunding payments?
Great question. We're going to walk through how to implement these features now, but keep in mind that reversals and refunds directly affect your company's revenue, so these may be your least desirable options. Let's start with a reversal of charges. Charges, of course, are line items on your customers' invoices. Reversing them involves undoing the charge you applied to a customer and not providing the associated service. Reversals affect invoices that have been posted to your customer's account. So we start the process by navigating to your customer's historical invoices. Select details on the invoice you'd like to apply a reversal on, and then Reverse next to the charge you'd like to adjust. You now have 3 options. You can reverse the full charge, reverse just the unearned portion, which is based on revenue recognition standards, or choose to reverse a specific amount. You can also enter a reference or a reason for your reversal of charges. Submit your reversal, and you'll see it applied against the invoice as a credit note. This amount will then be applied against future invoices. Alternately, it can also be refunded to the customer. To refund a payment, select Refund for the Payment section at the bottom of the invoice. You can select the refund method, for example, the credit card the customer has on file, and you can adjust the precise amount you'd like refunded. Submit your refund, and it will process. To refund credit notes, simply select Refund near the bottom of a customer's invoice. Adjust the refund amount to the amount of the credit note. Select your refund method, and add a reference if desired, and save. Finally, if you navigate into a customer's payments sections, you'll see a record of the refund.
Great. Thanks so much for going over these with us, Christine. So those were the 10 features within Fusebill you can use to manage your recurring billing business's customers during challenging times. As Natalie mentioned at the beginning, sometimes a little leniency, if you're able to grant it, can go a long way toward helping your customers stay on their feet. And at Fusebill, we're here to help as well. If you need some assistance actioning any of the features we discussed here, our customer support team is always ready and happy to help.